And hello and welcome back to Chaos Child. Last time, now that I think about it, maybe I should go watch something at the moment. So, I was told in the comments that apparently they don't end up explaining stuff in better terms. So, call me tempted because there was a link posted to just go watch something else. Give me a second. Something Chaos Head. Link posted in the comments. Hopefully this doesn't have commentary. Thank you to the channel. I can't just pop it up. Thank you to the channel in question. Let's go. Also, don't worry about me, like, being spoiled on something here. If I ever go do play Chaos Ed, which is a legitimate possibility, I will have forgotten any specifics towards what's happening here, because this is very out of context, and it's one of those situations. Scornful glance. Contrary to appearance, I'm pretty damn smart. I sort of remember something. I'm so fucking smart. I sort of remembered it. Very similar so far. They're made of negative matter. Which, yes, that would cause a lot of problems if you had proper negative matter manifested, yes. Well, I'm not sure that would stop people from... I think the... Okay. And to the rest of the world, they are errors. You need to define what that means exactly. The shared recognition of nearby humans, they become reality. That's not an explanation unless you explain why that equals becoming reality. Had said. It's fine. Yeah. That's still the key part. You're saying that observations make reality? There is a sense to that being true, in a sense, but it's observations The problem is less whether observations make reality, it's whether our observations are flawed in the reflection of reality. Like, you don't over... You're... I would agree more with the concept, and I mean, I can say they're definitely going that direction. If you had... What do you want to call it? 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 Oh, it's just that it's dealing with forces, right? There's so much more to reality than us observing them. That's the thing. Ignore the fact that that is my next. that is... okay.
初めてそれが水色のアイスと理解できる。でも脳が本人の意識しないままに嘘をついている可能性だってあるはず。脳が生み出した自分一人だけがそう思い込んでいる妄想かもしれないんだ。
じゃあどうやって現実だって証明するの？
他の人もお前の持っているものが水色のアイスであると観測すれば、それは2人以上の人間の共通の認識となる。お前一人だけの妄想じゃなくなるんだ。妄想を現実にするときにはそれを逆説的に捉えればいい。
I mean, that's exactly where I felt they were going.
とにかくこの件は普通の人には見えないの。
She's annoying voice. I now want a blue popsicle, though. Started taking big swings. Are we done with the... She didn't cut anything. On the premise of... Sword itself had no substance. Okay. Okay. I can get... Okay, so I guess two things. The D-sword thing. It's sort of fairly obvious that they're swords because they wanted a cool sword thing for the story. As much as it sort of doesn't fit the tone, at least of the game that I've been playing. But if you want to, like, sort of hand wave it away with, like, the explanation of... It's their delusions. It can look like whatever they want it to be. Why wouldn't it look like more varied stuff? Why would it always be a sword? Right? Why does it have to be a weapon? If you're saying that it's a way to channel, basically, negative energy, and it's negative matter itself, then... generally in the comments, people are like, yeah, I don't really care too much about the D-sword concept and stuff like that. But with the matter... The idea of observations becoming reality, I can get behind the idea of...
あのディソードは今は小杖の作ったエラーでしかない。周囲共通認識はまだ成立していない。
リアルブートしたらみんなに見えるようになるのです。
Okay. Okay. I'm just trying to wrap my head around the logic they're trying to instill here. I'm fine with the idea of shared observations making something real enough. You're basically saying that it's not a real thing. You're basically saying that the sword's not real, and the fact that it's moving through people makes it not real. But if you apply basically... that's the thing about forces, though. That's the thing that sort of just doesn't work with my head at the moment. But I get what they're trying to say, though. Basically, if you apply if you apply the recognition to people, then they will recognize there being a force applied to them by the big swordy thingy, right? I'm just applying this concepts to the swords too also just feels so very disconnecting in trying to wrap my head around it. It doesn't help me wrap my head around it in a way that really feels like everything comes together in a neat way.
ズシャーってしたりドガーってできるようにもなるよ。
Technical terms. Yes, slish slash boom crash. Those are the real questions we need to ask here. I don't care. Okay. So, I get the idea. There's just a disconnect at my basic understanding of the world and what they're trying to say that doesn't quite... Like, I completely get the logic. I just think that it's sort of ignoring some crucial elements of the world in its explanation, which is making it not quite be like the puzzle pieces fit together. This is definitely better than my understanding, particularly the explanation basically confirming that the idea is observations are reality. And that is, quote-unquote, how it works in the world. I'm a little still disconnected because they try to tie so into actual physics and whatnot that I guess the best way to phrase it would be that what's the word for it? My suspension of disbelief is sort of getting cracked by the fact that they're sort of leaning so heavily into quantum physics. I guess that's probably the best way of phrasing it. I'm not saying that it doesn't make sense in the way they're proposing it. What I'm saying is that between especially the D-sword part, it's not doing the best job at sustaining my suspension of disbelief, basically. I will say that is probably the best way I can phrase my general opinion on the explanations provided. That more than anything, because like I'm not saying that this is going to ruin my enjoyment of the story or anything like that. Most of what I say is just me just talking out loud in all that sort of stuff and saying whatever is on my mind in that moment. That's why it's a bit rambly. But and I also don't want to do it a disservice because it is an interesting concept. It is an interesting story. It is like I've liked the game quite a bit going through it. There are elements that I thought, pacing wise, but so far at least during segments. But I don't want to I don't want to give the wrong impression because me just speaking my mind can often make it seem like I am so much more invested in those specific moment-to-moment feelings than it might ultimately... Because, like, you could play through an entire game and you could love it at the end. But there's almost definitely parts in there where you're like, okay, let's get past this part. That sort of stuff, like where there's bad basing, but your overall feeling could be a lot more positive. So it's one of those things I always try to do, or I always feel like I'm like fighting whenever I express a more negative opinion, especially where the moment to moment, just like sort of like feelings and thoughts on stuff that I try to express and explain in, like, reasonable detail to get my thoughts across, could end up sounding much more negative because that is what I'm focused on in that moment in particular. That said, I get the idea. It's not doing the best job at sustaining my suspension of disbelief, and that's probably the best way to phrase it, even with going and looking at this. So let's get back into it, because I have spent more time on this than I probably should have. So, be back in a sec. And hello and welcome back to Chaos Child properly. Okay, and then he asked Yuki a few more detailed questions this time so she could hear. And as a result...
どうだ有村さん
Right.
全部白ですよ。真っ白。その子、嘘は一つもついてません。
Right. She is a very useful tool, I will say. I can see how, like, a policeman could just, like, figure out you're a lie detector, and it's just like, you want to help with the case? And they're like, no. You want to be compelled into helping with the case? Fine.
あと、今回の一連の事件についても本当に何にも知らないですね。その子が犯人と関係あるとか思ってます？だったら空振りもいいとこですよ。
そっか
Then again, who knows? Maybe that's the thing. That is the thing about Arimura, that she could potentially have a thing where she's lie detector and she's super useful, and then at key moments, she lies. Shinjo's shoulders slumped when he heard that. He saw that lab coats did too. She probably thought that she could learn a lot of what she wanted to know from Yamazoe Yuki. Lab coat frowned and looked at the ceiling.
有村さん助かったありがとう今度なんかごちそうするよ
はあ？それってもしかしてデートに誘ってるつもりですか？だったら絶対に嫌なんですけど。
未成年をデートになんて誘ったら警察クビだよ
I agree.
じゃまたな
またって、もうこういうのやめてくださいよ。何度言ったらわかるんです。
Could he just block his number at a point? He's not like calling from 911 or the equivalent. He ended the call before Arimura could say anything further, and finally the room fell quiet. So basically they're gonna get nothing out of it. Got it. No one spoke for a while. The only sound was Yamato Yuki mumbling, "I want to go home," as she stared at her feet.
まあその子に関してはもう少しうちで預かることにするわ。
I don't know. What's her legal status? Have you figured that out? Like, you probably don't want to do, like, actual kidnapping, especially if you're not going to charge her with anything. You can only hold her for so much time, right?
って言っても食事と寝る場所の提供くらいで大したことはできなさそうだけど。
Momose stood up and rolled her tired neck. There's an unhealthy popping sound. Ooh. I have lots of those.
それでも十分助かります
あっちの方は一からやり直しか。
一からってことはないさ地下施設の本格的な操作ができないか手を考えてみる
なんとかなるの？正式な手続きを踏んだところでまたどこかから圧力がかかるわよ。
でしょうね
でしょうねってあんた。
まそこら辺は適当に口実をでっち上げますダメならダメでやりようはあると思うんでそれにお天道様の元にさらしてしまえばいくらなんでも無視はできないでしょうからねなんです何かおかしなことを言いましたか
似てきたじゃないあの人に。
そいつは喜んでいいんですかね
どうかしら。少なくともいい死に方はしないわね。
Ooh. Ow. He's definitely willing to go to greater lengths than he probably was previously. Popular online journalist was murdered. Laser became convinced. Same as the others. The schools talked to the students. Coughed up stickers and died when he went on stage. Seen everywhere in the streets of Shibuya. They seem to think it would be possible to track down where the killer found them. how do you not have, like, security cameras and records of someone bringing in a ton of sumo stickers? Even if you are compelled to think he stuffed them down his throat. And honestly, at this point, if we're just gonna take that dead spot explanation, are you basically saying that if you can... I guess they're saying, like, visual perceptive stuff? So if we go back to the original time when the person was basically cutting up his arm and he thought it was cheese, that's easy to explain by what we've been told, right? You could, conceptually, not seeing them play out, assume that the other things that have happened are exactly like that, right? I am interested in what level of variation and control these powers may have. Like, lie detector is an interesting one based on the discussion they've had, isn't it? That doesn't seem to fit so well, right? With the discussion in question of filling dead spots in other people's observations and stuff like that, right? And before this is a viral marketing scheme by sumo wrestler people. There's a huge shadowy conspiracy involved on this. All the victims who try to find out about the conspiracy, the ones... Oh, they also eliminated the person who designed the sumo stickers. What do you base that on? I bet the kids he's gonna talk to are in danger too. So this is sort of just like... This is like quintessential jumping to conclusion sort of things, right? It's literally someone who takes what's happening and they literally say, hey, we saw we only have one of these where there's a connection to someone trying to find out about stuff about it, right? And they just assume the rest of them are the same. They ignore the fact that there's nothing saying there's not actually a trend there even. Let alone coming to a conclusion based off a trend that is sort of shaky. There isn't even a trend. So you're a sumo sticker truther. He's reading between the lines. It's the killer! I don't know what a Gatsuen is. Lots of people are saying it. Interesting.
物体を動かす力、いわゆるテレキネシスと呼ばれるもの。それが先輩の力です。
Why? Actually, here's a better question. Why the fuck do we have specific powers based on that explanation? Based on how you described it, it made it sound like you could create any delusion and make that reality, technically. The idea of it being sort of crowd into a specific type of thing, like telekinesis or lie detector, does seem odd, given the explanation provided.
僕の力。
さあ、念じてみてください。動けと心の中で。
念じる。心の中で。動け。動け。動け。
I swear to goodness, Hysterica's boobs bounce up and down.
動け動け動け動け動け動け動け動け動けよ
見て、机の上の本が。
That was way too easy. If it's as simple as just thinking it, so how did she phrase it? Just focus. Focus and do it, basically. Okay. Interesting.
マジかよ。浮いてやがる。動いた。
驚きました。これは私が思っていた以上の力かもしれません。
宮代拓。 君の能力、この目でじっくりと見させてもらった。
久野里さん。
これからはその能力を使って私の渋谷ニュースを手伝ってくれないか？
Wait, what?
僕が渋谷ニュースを。
How? With what?
私には君の力が必要なんだ。
はい、喜んで。
Wait, what?
すごいじゃねえか、宮代。
This feels like a delusion, but we don't have any of the stuff going around.
まあ、これくらい当然だよ。
宮代。
タクねえ、タクったら。
これくらい大したこと。
Oh, was the whole thing a delusion?
大したこと。
The whole, even like the beginning part was a delusion, I bet. Okay. Or just a dream, maybe? Oh, there's a question. How does it work with dreams? Could some like random dreamer create delusions into reality or something like that?
あ、起きた。
ここ。
Could they still be in the... Ooh. Could they still be in the underground facility being experimented on? And they are, through their own powers, in a fitful dream, projecting their bodies out onto the world. Or I guess if Sarika wouldn't be. It would be Sakaru is broadcasting his and Sarika's bodies out into the world in the something like that. I don't know. Could you do that? I mean, if it's your delusions become reality, if you make other people's perceptions believe that it's happening, then it might as well be reality. You could literally do anything under that pretense, right? My room? Then that was a dream just now. I looked at the clock. It's already well into afternoon and approaching evening.
そうか。
I remember now. I met with Arimura and Labcoat at Cafe Lax and then came back here late at night, still confused. After that, I'd gone home and thought, and done some research on the internet and finally got to sleep around sunrise. That's why I was only getting up now.
ったく、人が心配してきてやったのに気持ちよく寝てやがるんだもんな。
タクはのんきだね。
うわが、なんだお前ら。
Surprised, I leapt out of bed.
なんだってご挨拶だな君は。
みんなタクを心配して様子を見に来たんだよ。
心配？僕を？なんで？
だってねえ、花ちゃん。
Is this also a delusion? Everyone caring about Sakaru?
和樹、お前まで。
It's a tiny room, but I'd only just realized that she was here now.
ちょっとタク、そういう言い方はひどいよ。花ちゃんだってずーっと気にしてたんだからね。
Good answer. That was surprising. Yasuki was so worried about me that she'd come all the way out here. Figured no matter what happened, she'd be sitting in the club room playing ESO 2.
てか大げさなんだよ。そんなに心配しなくたって。
I mean, it is interesting that they're all here.
でもよ、結構いろんなことあったろ昨日。
そうだよ、のんちゃんも気にしてたよ。
クルスがまさか昨日のことベラベラ喋ったりしてないよな。
Uh-oh. Zerka looked confused.
もしかして話したのか？
Did she believe any of it?
例の能力のことも。なんで言っちゃうんだよ。
だってのんちゃんには隠し事してもバレちゃうんだもん。
Yeah, Kirsu was pretty sharp, and I couldn't imagine a girl like Zerka being able to hide anything from her. Did you mention that name that we heard at the screens about that patient? Also, did she believe you? I gave up and fell back into bed.
いけなかったかな。
It's fine. Zerka looked apologetic as she fiddled with her Gale Froggy Shrimp. It's not a matter of whether you should or shouldn't have. You already have done it. So let's figure out what we should do with that situation from here on.
いや、いい。話しちゃったもんは仕方がない。
Knowing Kirsu, she was probably really upset right now.
で、それでクルスはなんて？
私は今動けないから代わりにあなたたちがタクのそばにいてあげてって。
それだけか？あいつのことだからもっといろいろ言われただろ。危険なことするなとか、能力なんてバカなとかなんとか。
Or, quote, did you find your phone? The thing that you said was as important as your family, end quote.
そんなことなかったよ。
だってあのクルスだぞ。それだけのはずないだろ。
それだけ。
だよな。
I rubbed my eyes, still sleepy. Something didn't seem right.
ああ、そうだ。昼間新庄さんから電話あったぞ。お前が探してるスマホのことで。
Ito slapped his hands together as if he just remembered something important. I quickly stood up. That was one of my biggest concerns right now.
新庄さんなんだって？
I eagerly pressed Ito for more information. Chijo said that he intended to spend the whole day gathering information of that Yamazoe Yuki girl. Of course, I told him many times to ask about the phone. Probably he had.
ああ、それがな。
Explain.
あの子は持ってない？
ああ、一度拾ったけどすぐに元の場所へ戻したそうだ。
そんな言い訳、新庄さんは信じたのか？
有村が確認したんだと。嘘はついてないって。
有村が？
Which meant that she wasn't lying.
じゃあ僕の携帯から伊藤に謎の着信があったの？
それも彼女は無関係だってさ。
そっか。つまりスマホを持ち去った犯人が別にいるってことか。
Then who had the phone? And the picture. And how and why had they managed to use my phone to call us and threaten us?
とにかく宮代のスマホは引き続き捜索してくれるそうだ。だからさ、とりあえず新しいのを買ったらどうだ？
タクはね、やっぱり私たちの真ん中にいる部長なんだよ。だからね、タクと連絡取れなくて困ることはいっぱいあるんだ。今日も一日中心配しちゃったし。
Oh, don't worry. I probably would have slept through those phone rings.
あと、のんちゃんもタクとお話ししたい時にすごく困るって言ってた。
そっか。
I am the leader. Felt kind of embarrassing, but I knew that only these guys would say something like that.
確かに今のままだと何かが起こった時にみんなと連絡を取り合うことができないな。わかった。早めに新しいスマホを手に入れるよ。
Sarka smiled happily.
で、昨日の話の続きなんだけどさ、宮代。
続きってどの話の続きだ？
久野里さんの言ってた能力だよ。本当にありそうなのか？
ああ、それわからないな。ちょっと非科学的すぎるし。
Sure.
でも最初に超能力がどうのって言い出したのは宮代じゃなかったっけ？
それは
お前には見えたんだよな、有村が出した剣みたいなの。
まあ見えるには見えたけど。
Arimura's sword, I think she called it D sword, definitely looked real.
そいつが見えたってことはやっぱお前は能力者ってことだろ？久野里さんもそう言ってたし。
伊藤、相変わらず久野里さんの言うことを信用するんだな。あれだけひどい目に遭わされたのに。
She treated him pretty badly in the basement of that hospital. Maybe he was into that? Yes, he was! Come on! Let her abuse of him be the spark of something grand.
おいおい、なんだよその目は。俺は別にそういう趣味はねえぞ。
I didn't say it was. Why did your mind go there, Ito?
いや、そういえばお前、クルスを怒らせるようなこともよく言うよな。あれもわざとじゃ。
うわー、しんちゃんって変態さんだったんだね。
Well, everyone's a pervert a little bit.
やめろよお前ら。んなことより宮代の能力の話をしてんだ今は。
Oh my goodness, he's actually not unsubtly trying to just change the subject. Ito dragged us back to the original topic. This was definitely suspicious.
いや、能力とか言われたって自分の意思で使えたことなんてないしさ。ラブホテルとか病院の地下とか、鍵を開けたのは僕の能力だって有村や久野里さんは言ってたけど、半信半疑なんだよ。
The door to the hotel room might never have been locked in the first place, and others might have just been coincidence, right?
ちゃんと試してみたのか？
試す？
おう、だってさ、やってみなきゃ使えるかどうかわかんねえだろ。
コツさえつかめば案外できるかもしれないもんね。
Even the normally disinterested Kazuki was staring at me with curiosity. Oh, that's the real reason she was there. Psychic powers? Real? Ooh. It was rare to see her like this. Maybe she's interested in psychic powers in the occult.
そうだな。
それともタク、一人で試してみたりした？それでダメだったとか？だったらしょうがないけど。
違うよ。僕がそんな馬鹿げたこと一人でやるわけないだろ。
I lied. Actually, last night I tried and it hadn't worked.
じゃあやってみようよ。ね？いいじゃん。減るもんでもないし。
Well, telekinesis is, could do a lot of things, so...
けどやるったってどうすれば？
You unlock your bowels. Try it that way, I don't know. No.
やっぱ強く念じるとかじゃね？
I tried that, it didn't work.
ほらほらタク、念じて念じて。
念じるって何よ？
そうだな。例えばほら、そこにある本を動かしてみるとか。
And now, this is just like my dream.
わかったよ。やるよ。やってみる。けど期待はするなよ。
大丈夫大丈夫。5本。それでは挑戦していただきましょう。宮代拓くんです。パチパチパチ。
Suddenly, Sarika stood straight up and gave me an introduction and a round of applause. I had no choice but to stand in front of the book and get ready. I raised both my hands slowly and concentrated. Yeah, it was never going to be that simple. I stuck my hands out quickly, and then the pages of the book slowly started to.
やっぱ動かないね。
だろう。だからできないって言ったんだよ。
Well, it doesn't sound like by proxy of the methodology of the system that just willing something into being like that would be how it would work. I'm trying to think back of the situation with the door unlocking during that first murder that we stumbled upon. He didn't think anything like particularly special.
チェなんだつまんねえの。
It is. Don't break it. Don't break the RV or whatever.
ほら和樹、人んちの壁を殴るな。
でもよかったね、タク。
Sarah opened one of my mountain views and smiled. I hadn't seen her take it from the refrigerator.
あ、俺にも一本。
Sarah handed Ito the plastic bottle she was holding, then took out 2 more from the fridge. She gave one to Kazuki.
おい、お前ら、人のものを勝手に。後で金払ってもらうからな。
なんだよ、ケチくせえな。
Yeah, leader. Set a good example for your soldiers.
一人暮らしは何かと金がかかるんだよ。てか、尾上、僕にも一本。
In before they're out. That was 4 bottles in total. I'd have to go buy a new pack.
サンキュー。で、何がいいんだよ。さっき言ったろ。よかったねって。
ああ、うん。だってさ、もしもタクにそんな能力があったら、命を狙われるかもしれないってことでしょ？
あ、命を狙われる？
That's a interesting observation. You also pose the question of why can Gigolo my Higolo my Gigolo my Rigolo Gigolo Higolo Wiggle my Gigolo baby. Why can the Wiggle my Gigolo babies why are they capable of seeing stuff as a group when other people aren't seeing it? There's a question. Could that be some... because the implication is that the, are they constantly having their dead spots filled or something like that? Because the implication outside of all this tends to be more along the lines of... that's part of it. It's hard to fully wrap my head around the implications of the small minutia. The idea makes it sound like even with other Gigolo-Migolos, you'd probably still need to have some semblance of them having stuff transmitted to them, right? To see stuff and whatnot.
もしもタクにそんな能力があったら、命を狙われるかもしれないってことでしょ？
There's a chance that all the victims of these murders, they're calling them the return of the new generation madness, had psychic powers. That was the conclusion I'd reached as well. If I had the power that Lab Coat and Arimura said I did, I could be a victim too. And Arimura had said before.
あなた
Yeah, I don't need to hear that for the 20th time.
殺される僕が
What the hell is going on? Normally I'd be excited about, that my theory about psychic powers had been proven correct. But instead, why did I have to start worrying that they'd come after me?
どう考えたっておかしいだろ
For one thing, I couldn't use any psychic powers. See, I tried and nothing moved. I focused and nothing started floating. Go look at the freaking sumo sticker or something. I'm sure that can instill the right quote-unquote feeling for you to be able to do stuff like that. I suppose another thing is, if you are changing reality by changing others' observations, wouldn't that require other people around for stuff to happen? Is that why the sumo stickers are required? In order to maybe, like, affect someone at a distance? They, like, create a sort of, like, pseudo like, security camera, and then from that, you're able to focus multiple perceptions onto a target. And then maybe that's why maybe that's why that group of people showed up to the first person, and etc, etc, etc. I knew for a fact I didn't have any powers, so even if other people said I did. But what if the killer mistakenly thought that I did, the same way Arimura and Labcoat did? In that case, even if they were wrong, my life would still be in danger.
冗談じゃないそんなバカなことって
What was that sound? The door. Again. Someone here. What's his face? That hobo guy, right? What was his name again? The others had just left and there's no one else who would come here. No way. Could be someone who wants to kill me.
おい嘘だろ
You've got to be kidding! Oh, you gotta be kidding me. I can't use them. I don't have any powers?
嫌だ来るな違う僕は超能力者なんかじゃない違うんだ
But beside my pleas, the door slowly opened.
なんだ騒がしいなどうしたんだ
ケンさん
おタク要はただいま帰ったぞ
なんだよ驚かさないでよ
Staggerbat sat
せっ
down.
かく例のもの持ってきてやったってのにさては女子かと思って期待しておったね
そんなんじゃないよ
まあまあお前くらいの年なら誰でもあるこったってわけでほれ
Again tossed me an issue of Cool Cat Press and stuck out his hand. Yeah, you know what he uses it for. To be honest, I didn't feel like it, but...
500円でいいの
毎度ありこれで今日もうまいビールが飲めるってな
How much money do you spend getting those? Do you steal them?
少しは貯金とかしたら
バカ野郎男は酔い越しの金は持たねえってな
That might be the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
イカタクお前も男ならケチケチすんじゃねえぞじゃないと女子には
分かった今日はもう帰って
Yeah, go home like the cool cat you are.
男ならとこら
Lock your door. I pushed again out of the room and shut the door. The room became strangely silent once more. The occasional passing of a train seemed exceptionally loud, but when it was gone, the silence returned. Shibuya Station was very close, but Once you got even a little bit away, it became like this. Normally I love the silence, but today I felt a little lonely. Don't look at me. Leaky noise. Revolving dead. And Gotsuan death. Oh, is that what they're calling that? I don't have any reference point to what that means outside of death. They all had stupid names, but they're all brutal murders. And
もしも特にそんな能力があったら命を狙われるかもしれないってこ
くそ、冗談じゃない。
I flipped open the new Cool Cat Press and to take my mind off of it. The page read, "Polish your hidden talents to make girls love you." Okay. What? No, we're skipping that part? No!
はい終わり。
ありがとうユイ。悪いわね。
いいっていいって。のの姉にはいつもいろいろ任せっきりなんだもん。私だってもう子供じゃないんだし、こういう時くらい頼ってよ。
They're both children. Honestly, both of them are children. Yui smiled as she finished disinfecting the wound and applying the gauze. Nono was a little surprised to see her smile look just like an adult's. Yui and Yudo had come to the Alba dorm at almost the same time as Nono and Takeru. At first they were so young, and it took time for them to get used to life here, but now they were an indispensable part of the life of the dorm. Of course, it had been 6 years now, so perhaps that was only natural. That's right. Kurisu told herself, people can get used to anything. Nono thought about how long 6 years really was, and softly patted Yui on the head.
どうしたの？ののね。
なんでもない。大きくなったなって。
何？急に。
だからなんでもないんだって。ちょっと思っただけ。
And at the same time, she thought to herself, I have to protect this, no matter what. The things she'd built up over the last 6 years. Her family. And...
いいののね。また勝手に動き回って悪化させちゃダメなんだからね。
The way Yui stood up when she talked was just like No-No. It felt a little embarrassing to watch.
ごめん。
それにしてもタクル兄もタクル兄だよね。痛がってるのの姉を置いてどっか行っちゃうなんて。口では文句ばっかり言っててもタクル兄は本当は優しい人だって思ってたのにさ。
そう言わないであげてユイ。タクルはタクルなりにいろいろあるのよ、きっと。
いろいろって？
それは。
Kurisu explained the psychic powers to Yui, who believed it, and they both agreed. It totally didn't make either of them wonder what the fuck a D-sword is. Kurisu knew that Takeru didn't want to hurt her. Takeru was just struggling as hard as he could. Against the circumstances he found himself in. Against the world. But...
わからないけど、いろいろよ。いろいろ。
変なの？
He still didn't realize that sometimes the only thing that brought... he didn't realize that sometimes the only thing that brought was sadness. That brought... Oh, specifically what they... Okay, yeah. They kept Takeru's past a secret for his own sake. There's nothing to be gained from digging up the truths of the past. Takeru knew that. So why...
とにかくもうしばらく安静にしておくこと。これは父さんからの命令でもあるんだから。わかった？
はいはい。
返事は1回。
はい、わかりまし
Those
た。
are 2 more answers.
よろしい。
So, right and got it are both 2 answers in their own right. Come on. You said the line that normally Kurisu would say and then left the room. Kurisu chuckled as she watched her go. And then she took the phone off the side table. A moment after she turned it on, the phone's wallpaper appeared. was a photo of her family. Her dad, Yudo, Yui, and Takeru, with a blank expression on his face. He looks like he's smiling. It was one of her most important treasures. She stared at it for a long time, then after a moment's hesitation, opened the photo gallery on the phone. There was Takeru, mixed in along with many of her other memories. He had the same flat look on his face, and it almost made her laugh out loud. The very bottom of the gallery was a picture dated a long, long time ago. It was taken 6 years ago, just before the earthquake. There are 3 children in that picture. Nono, Kawahara, and one more. And then she heard a knock at the door. She quickly hid the phone behind her back.
のの姉ちゃん、いい？何？お友達が来てるよ。お見舞いだって。友達？
やっほー。
Sakura softly opened the door and came inside.
元気？
元気だったらこうして寝てないから。
ああ、そっか。じゃあまたにするね。
冗談よ冗談。入って。
うん。
Sakura came inside, moving a little bit more carefully and softly than she usually did. She sat down next to the bed.
お茶とか持ってきた方がいい？
ああ、いいよ。お構いなく。
ありがとう、ゆうと。うん。じゃあ。
へへへ。
Sakura smiled as she watched the door close.
何？
ゆうとくんもしっかりしてきたなーって。
まだ甘えん坊だけどね。
Yudo was shy, particularly around people older than him, but he seemed okay with Sarika. It's probably because Sarika had been around Takeru for so long.
それで？え？ここに来た理由よ。
お見舞い。
怪我の具合なら電話でも話したでしょ。なのにわざわざ来るなんて。
やっぱのんちゃんにはかなわないな。
当たり前。で、どうしたの？
ちょっとね。のんちゃんの様子がおかしいなって思って。
私が？
電話の声がね、元気がないなって。
何言ってるの？怪我してるんだから元気がないのは当たり前でしょ？
それはそうなんだけど、なんて言ったらいいかな。とにかく変だなって思ったの。だから来たの。
セリカ。
I guess I can't fool you either, Nono thought to herself.
のんちゃん？どうしたの？具合悪い？
そうじゃない。そうじゃないの。ただ。
Nono hesitated for a moment, and then slowly took the phone out from behind her back. There's only one thought in her heart. I have to protect everyone. That was all. If she couldn't change things, they'd be put in danger. Takeru, her family, the rest of the newspaper club. So Nono made her decision. What she couldn't say until now. What she didn't say until now. She would tell everyone.
のんちゃん？
セリカ、言ってたわよね。例の病院の地下で、南沢千里っていうこの情報を見たって。
There we go.
これ。
It was the picture Nono had been looking at a moment ago, Well, I really do hope they resolve this and get everyone on the same page to start moving forward together at the very least. There was Kirisu, Nono, Kawahari, Masashi, and one more child.
のんちゃん、これって。
それではここでもう一度こちらの歴史シールがどういうものかを見てみましょう。まずこの歴史シールというものが最初に街中に貼られ始めたのは2007年頃だそうですが、果たして誰が何のために貼り始めたものなのか詳しいことは分かっていません。ただのいたずらだとも、あるいは宗教的呪術的な意味があるとも言われていますが、それも単なる噂の域を出ません。ただこの歴史シールが最近になって大量に貼られ始めたのには何らかのメッセージが込められているのではないかとインターネットなどでは話題になっているということですが。
Well, I definitely don't feel as though so it doesn't sound like it requires people's it doesn't require to. Maybe it makes it easier to cause a large-scale event with the delusion or something like that. If you make a bunch of psychics, activate a bunch of psychics, because people are having that reaction and are starting to just... If you put something inside their brain, then they're more likely to pass it along to someone else, that sort of thing, right?
ここで若者のサブカルチャーなどに詳しいゲストの方を。
ここも
誰が何のためにやってるのかわからないなんて気味悪いですよね。
ここも
この歴史シールと言われるものがデザイン的にどうであるかという点を考えてみますと、
Every channel I looked at was talking about the sumo stickers. The world was talking about the sumo stickers a lot more than I expected them to. Everyone's getting excited over old news and old theories. But none of them had reached the same conclusion I had yet. Well, of course they hadn't. It was way too far-fetched. But a while ago, I'd been confident. I'd been sure of my new theory, and lab coat and Arimura had confirmed it. I didn't believe in it anymore, or more specifically, I didn't want to believe it. Because if those powers existed, it might mean that I might be a victim too. I might eat my own hand, or rip my stomach, and shove a speaker inside, or have my head ripped off, or my stomach filled with pieces of paper with faces on them. I might meet the same end as all the others. Sliced arm, bloody stomach. Severed head falling from a snag. No, let's not see that one again. Why do you have 3 on that one? Yeah, you imagining it's like, ew, why do you have to show it again? If that happened to me. I think he expressed it quite well.
ではもう一度実物をご覧いただきましょう。これが歴史シールと言われるものですが、
A close-up of the sumo sticker appeared on the screen as the announcer spoke. The instant I saw it, I leapt up from my chair, hallucinating that all the nightmares I'd seen were so far were real booting and attacking me. I closed my eyes so that I couldn't see the sticker.
一説によりますと、これはデザイン学校の学生が自己表現のために貼り始めたという話もありますが、どんな理由であれ迷惑行為であることに変わりはありません。
Fearfully opened my eyes and tried to catch my breath. The sticker on the screen was still staring at me with its creepy face, but nothing had happened to me. I'd seen the 11th Rosarch image in the basement of the hospital. Well, even that's a significant difference. How close do you need to make the design? If slight differences like that are enough to not incite the reaction, but the normal Suma sticker is fine, because it's a significant deviation from the research test too, right? That was the Rio Suma sticker. It had a terrifying effect on me. But many of the stickers that were showing up around town were fakes, put up by people hoping to be part of the latest fad. Or put up as a way to test people. I mean, if you have a control, if you have two, you also want a control. You don't want to only have people that are reacting to that and just conclude, okay, yeah, they're psychic. You want a control so that if someone walks by and reacts to the one that shouldn't do anything, yeah?
脅かすなよ、クソ。
Nothing, and that's probably a good place to end it, because I don't know how much longer this is going to go, and I don't have much time left, just in case. So, I'll see y'all next time. Drive safely, everyone.